Mr. Samuel was not a rich man. He lived in a small town, in a simple house with old furniture and a tiny garden. Every morning, he walked to Maplewood High School with a small satchel on his back. He was a teacher of history, and he loved teaching more than anything else in the world. But Samuel had a secret. He could not see children suffer. Even if it meant breaking some rules, he always helped students who needed him. Today, he noticed a boy sitting alone during lunch. The boy's shoes were torn, and his socks were full of holes. "Are you hungry, Peter?" Samuel asked gently. Peter looked up, embarrassed. I skipped breakfast, sir," he said quietly. Samuel felt a pang in his heart. Without thinking twice, he took off his own lunch from the bag and gave it to Peter. The boy's eyes sparkled with gratitude. But Samuel didn't stop there. After school, he went to a nearby store and bought a pair of new shoes for Peter. The next day, Samuel walked into the staff room, expecting nothing, only to find Mr. Donovan, the principal, waiting for him. His face was stern, cold, and full of disapproval. "Samuel, I heard about your gift to Peter," the principal said slowly. "You know this is against school rules. You cannot give students things outside official programs." Samuel's heart sank. "I was only trying to help him. He really needs shoes. He's a bright boy, he deserves a chance." Donovan's lips tightened. "Rules are rules. You will face punishment for this." The news spread fast in the school. Some teachers whispered about Samuel's kindness, but the administration was harsh. They accused him of favoritism. They accused him of breaking the rules. Samuel's reputation started to crumble, but he didn't regret his decision. He knew helping Peter was the right thing to do. That night, Samuel sat in his small house, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders. He loved teaching, but it seemed like his love had brought him trouble. He looked at the old photographs on his wall, pictures of his parents and grandparents, people who had always taught him to do good. A sigh escaped his lips. Then, an unexpected letter arrived. It was sealed with a thick, golden stamp, and Samuel had no idea who it was from. The handwriting looked old-fashioned, almost like it had come from another era. He opened it carefully. "Dear Mr. Samuel," the letter began, "I am your distant uncle, Gerald. You may not know me well, but I have been watching your life from afar. You have shown kindness, courage, and honesty, qualities I respect deeply. I have left you something that will change your life." Samuel's hands trembled. The letter mentioned a fortune, wealth he had never imagined. He read it again and again, but it seemed unreal. Could this be true? Why him? Before he could think further, the letter instructed him to meet a lawyer the next day. Samuel could barely sleep that night. Questions ran through his mind like a storm. Was this really happening? Was it a trick? Or was fate finally rewarding him for his kindness? Meanwhile, Peter, the boy Samuel had helped, noticed a change in the school atmosphere. Students whispered about Samuel being punished. Peter felt guilty. He wished there was something he could do to help his teacher, but he was just a child. Still, he promised himself silently that he would never forget Samuel's generosity. The next morning, Samuel walked to school with a heavy heart. The hallways seemed colder than usual. His colleagues avoided his eyes. Some students tried to cheer him up, but the tension in the air was undeniable. And yet, deep inside, a small spark of hope glimmered. Something extraordinary was about to happen. Samuel did not know it yet, but the life he thought he had lost was about to change in ways he could never imagine. As he stepped out of his small house, the morning sun glinted on the old, worn streets. Samuel took a deep breath, unaware that destiny had already begun its mysterious plan. The morning sun had barely risen when Samuel arrived at the small law office on the edge of town. The streets were quiet, almost too quiet, as if the city itself was holding its breath. His heart pounded, not from fear, but from a strange mix of hope and doubt. Could this really be true? A distant uncle leaving him a fortune? It seemed too incredible to be real. The lawyer, a tall man with sharp glasses and a serious face, greeted him. "Mr. Samuel, thank you for coming. Please, have a seat." Samuel sat, trying to steady his shaking hands. The lawyer opened a large folder and began to speak. "Your Uncle Gerald was a wealthy man. He lived a life full of secrets and mysterious ventures. In his will, he has left you his estate. But there is a condition." Samuel leaned forward, his curiosity mixed with fear. "A condition?" The lawyer nodded. "Yes. Your uncle was not just any ordinary man. He believed in justice, in kindness, and in the strength of the human spirit. Before you can claim his fortune, you must prove yourself worthy, not through money, but through your actions. There is a series of tasks, carefully designed to test your courage, morality, and intelligence." Samuel felt a chill. Tasks? He thought he was about to inherit a fortune, and now he faced a test. "You will begin with something small, but it will quickly grow," the lawyer continued. "Your first task is in a town far from here. You will receive a package at your home tonight. Do not open it until instructed." Samuel left the office, feeling a mixture of excitement and dread. Questions filled his mind. Who was this uncle really? Why him? And what kind of tasks awaited him? Back at his small house, Samuel could barely focus on his daily routines. He thought of Peter, the boy whose shoes he had bought. He hoped Peter was safe and well, but he couldn't shake the feeling that his life was about to change forever. That evening, as the sky turned orange and purple, a small package arrived at his door. There was no return address. Samuel examined it carefully. The paper was old, rough, almost fragile, and tied with a simple black string. He remembered the lawyer's words, "Do not open it until instructed." Hours passed. Samuel tried to sleep, but his mind was restless. Finally, he decided to open the package just a little, only to peek inside. Inside was a small, metallic cube, smooth and cold to touch. Strange symbols were etched on its sides, glowing faintly in the dim light. Samuel had never seen anything like it. It hummed softly, as if it had a life of its own. A folded note lay on top. It read, "This is your first step. Trust your instincts. Your choices now will shape not only your future but the fate of many." Samuel's pulse raced. Was this science? Magic? Or something entirely different? The next morning, the cube seemed to react to him. When he touched it, the symbols shifted and glowed brighter. He realized that the cube was somehow alive. A tool? A guide? Or a test? He didn't know. Meanwhile, news of Samuel's punishment at school spread further. Some students admired him secretly, but the administration continued to isolate him. Samuel felt the weight of judgment from the world outside, but a new determination grew within him. He could no longer live a life of simple routine. Something extraordinary was calling. That night, the cube hummed louder, projecting a faint holographic map into the air. Samuel stared in disbelief. It showed locations, coordinates, and even what seemed to be moving lights along a path. The cube was leading him somewhere. Somewhere important. He realized this journey was bigger than money. Bigger than the inheritance. It was a test of character, courage, and perhaps, destiny itself. Samuel packed a small bag for the journey, including essentials and a notebook. He felt fear, but also a sense of excitement he had never felt before. The life of a simple teacher was ending, and something extraordinary was beginning. As he left his small town that night, the moon shining bright above, Samuel could feel the eyes of fate watching him. Every step he took brought him closer to the unknown. And somewhere far away, his distant uncle's presence seemed to whisper in the wind, "The journey has begun, and there is no turning back." The journey had begun. Samuel walked through the silent streets of the town, the small metallic cube humming softly in his satchel. It seemed almost alive, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. He couldn't shake the feeling that the cube was watching him, an intelligent object, a silent guardian, or perhaps a test of its own. As he reached the edge of the town, a dense fog rolled in, making the path ahead almost invisible. Every step Samuel took felt heavy, as though the fog itself tried to slow him down. Then, the cube vibrated in his hand, glowing brighter than ever. A holographic arrow appeared in the air, pointing forward. "Trust it," he whispered to himself, feeling both fear and curiosity. The path led him to an old, abandoned factory on the outskirts of the city. Broken windows, rusted machines, and the smell of damp metal filled the air. The cube pulsed violently now, projecting strange symbols into the fog. Samuel realized they formed a sequence, like a code he had to solve. He knelt down and studied the glowing symbols. Each one seemed to correspond to a step on the floor. Carefully, Samuel followed the sequence, one step at a time. His heart raced. A wrong move might trigger some unknown trap, or worse. Suddenly, a loud click echoed in the factory. The floor beneath him shifted, revealing a hidden staircase that descended into darkness. The cube floated in the air, hovering above the opening, casting its soft glow on the stairs. Samuel took a deep breath and began to descend. At the bottom, he found a massive underground chamber, walls covered with strange carvings and glowing lines. The air was thick, almost alive with energy. At the center of the chamber, a pedestal held another object, a small, crystal-like device. The cube floated toward it, connecting with the crystal. Immediately, the room changed. Holographic images filled the walls, maps of distant planets, star systems, and even futuristic cities. Samuel realized he was no longer just following instructions. The cube and the crystal were opening a window into something far greater, an ancient technology, a hidden knowledge, something humanity had never seen. A voice echoed in the chamber, calm but powerful. "Samuel, you have taken the first step. But your journey is only beginning. The choices you make now will test your courage, your morality, and your understanding of humanity." Samuel felt a shiver run down his spine. This was not just a test for wealth, it was a test for his very character, for the essence of who he was. He picked up the crystal, and instantly, a holographic path appeared before him, stretching across the stars. The cube and crystal began to pulse in unison, creating a rhythm that seemed to resonate with his heartbeat. Samuel felt connected to something bigger, something beyond Earth, beyond life as he knew it. But the challenge was far from over. Suddenly, the chamber trembled. Shadows moved along the walls, strange forms that seemed to watch him. He realized that the journey ahead would not only test his mind but also his courage. Danger was coming. Samuel gripped the crystal tightly. He remembered Peter, the boy whose life he had changed with a pair of shoes. He realized that every act of kindness, every choice to do good, had led him to this moment. The cube and crystal were a reward, yes, but also a responsibility. As he left the underground chamber, the first rays of dawn breaking through the factory's broken windows, Samuel knew the world he had known was gone. The life of a simple teacher was over. Ahead lay mysteries, dangers, and unimaginable opportunities. Every step forward would demand bravery, intelligence, and the ability to make choices that could alter not just his fate, but possibly the fate of humanity itself. And deep in the sky above, a star twinkled unusually bright, as if signaling the start of something extraordinary. Samuel's adventure was only beginning, and the universe itself seemed to be waiting for him. The chamber behind Samuel seemed to vanish the moment he stepped outside, leaving him under the weak morning light of the abandoned factory. But the cube and crystal in his hands pulsed with a strange energy, guiding him forward. He had no map, no instructions, only a sense that the next step was crucial. The holographic path from the crystal flickered, projecting a faint image of a forest far away. Samuel understood, this was where he must go. His curiosity mixed with unease. Something told him that this was no ordinary forest, it was part of the test, and danger could lurk at every step. As he traveled, he noticed subtle changes in the air. The wind whispered words he could not understand. Shadows moved unnaturally among the trees, and every rustle of leaves made his heart race. The cube vibrated, sensing his tension, and its glow brightened. Hours passed. Just when he thought he was lost, he arrived at a clearing, where a strange structure stood, a circular arena made of black stone, etched with glowing runes that matched those on the crystal. The air here felt thick, almost alive, pulsing with an energy that made Samuel's skin tingle. Then, without warning, the cube floated above the pedestal, and the voice returned, deep, calm, commanding. "Samuel, you have come far, but your trial begins now. You must face your fears, your choices, and the weight of your own humanity. Only then will you unlock the true power of the crystal." Before Samuel could respond, the ground trembled. Shadows rose from the stone floor, forming into humanoid figures. They were silent, faceless, but their presence was menacing. Samuel realized these were guardians, projections of the trial. He would have to confront them, but not with weapons. The test was of courage, intelligence, and morality. The first shadow approached. Samuel felt a wave of fear, his instincts screamed to flee, but he stood firm. He remembered Peter, the students he had helped, and the belief that kindness was stronger than fear. The shadow lunged, but when Samuel held the crystal aloft, it glowed brightly, forming a protective barrier. The voice spoke again, calm and judging, "Your fear is natural, but courage is measured by your ability to act despite it." Each shadow tested him differently. One forced him to face a memory of failure, he saw himself punished for helping Peter, ridiculed by colleagues. Another shadow showed him temptation, an offer of immediate wealth if he abandoned the test. Samuel's heart raced, but he refused to yield. Hours, or perhaps minutes, passed in this surreal trial. Samuel realized he was learning something deeper. The crystal responded not to strength, but to intention. Every act of honesty, courage, and kindness made its light stronger. Every doubt weakened it. Finally, only one shadow remained, a dark, towering figure, taller than any man, exuding power and menace. Samuel's knees trembled, but he raised the crystal high. The figure advanced slowly, and suddenly, Samuel understood, he could not fight it. He had to confront it. "Why are you testing me?" he shouted. "I have done my best. I help others because it is right, not for reward." The shadow paused. Slowly, it dissolved into smoke, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air. The voice spoke one last time. "Samuel, you have proven yourself worthy. Not through strength, but through your heart, your courage, and your choices. The crystal's secrets are now yours. The inheritance is not just wealth, it is knowledge, power, and responsibility. Use it wisely." The arena's walls pulsed, and the holographic map from the crystal expanded, showing new locations, far-off worlds, distant galaxies, and paths Samuel could never have imagined. He realized the inheritance was more than money, it was a chance to shape the future of humanity. But with great opportunity came great responsibility. Samuel felt the weight of what lay ahead. Every choice, every action could change lives, his own and those of countless others. As he left the forest clearing, the first stars appeared in the evening sky. The cube and crystal glowed softly, guiding him onward. He was no longer just a teacher in a small town. He was a guardian, a pioneer, chosen to carry knowledge and power that few could comprehend. And somewhere, in the quiet of the night, he felt a presence, his distant Uncle Gerald watching, approving, guiding him. The journey was far from over. Greater challenges, mysteries, and dangers awaited. And Samuel knew, with certainty, that the universe itself was about to test him in ways he could not yet imagine. Samuel stared at the glowing holographic map that the crystal projected. Unlike anything he had seen before, it displayed not just locations on Earth, but distant worlds, star systems, and planets bathed in strange lights. The inheritance he had imagined as wealth was far greater: knowledge, power, and responsibility beyond imagination. The cube floated in front of him, pulsing gently, almost as if it was alive. Samuel realized it was guiding him again. One world glowed brighter than the others, a planet that seemed unstable, almost dangerous. The cube's hum grew louder. He packed carefully, his mind racing with anticipation and fear. This was no longer about being a teacher. This was about facing unknown worlds, understanding alien technology, and surviving trials that could challenge his courage and morality. He held the crystal tightly, feeling the warmth of its energy. When he arrived at the designated point, the sky shimmered with colors he had never seen. A portal of light opened before him, swirling like liquid fire. Samuel's heart pounded. The cube vibrated strongly. The voice of his distant uncle echoed in his mind. "Step forward, Samuel. Humanity's future depends on your choices." With a deep breath, he entered the portal. Immediately, the world around him changed. He stood on a barren planet, with red sand stretching to the horizon. Two suns burned in the sky, casting long shadows. Strange creatures, tall and slender with glowing eyes, observed him from a distance. They were intelligent beings, their presence both intimidating and mesmerizing. The cube guided him forward. As he walked, the ground trembled. Suddenly, a massive fissure opened, threatening to swallow him. Reflexively, Samuel leapt to the side, landing on a small ledge. The cube's glow intensified, forming a bridge of light over the fissure. He crossed carefully, realizing that the inheritance was more than knowledge, it was a tool to survive, to adapt, to face impossible odds. Ahead, he encountered the first real challenge of this world. A giant barrier of energy blocked the path. Within it, he could see strange symbols and moving shapes. The cube projected a sequence, showing him how to manipulate the energy safely. Samuel focused, matching the pattern with trembling hands. One mistake, and he could be trapped forever. Step by step, he adjusted the energy, and finally, the barrier dissolved. Behind it lay a chamber filled with glowing artifacts and scrolls of knowledge, perhaps thousands of years old. Samuel understood this was the reward for his courage, the first test of his ability to learn and understand alien technology. But he was not alone. Shadows moved around the chamber, fast and unpredictable. These were not the simple trials of the crystal, they were guardians of this knowledge. Samuel realized that his every choice mattered. A wrong move could destroy the chamber or awaken creatures far beyond his understanding. He moved slowly, studying each artifact, absorbing knowledge that humans had never seen. His mind raced with questions and possibilities. He could use this knowledge to help humanity, to advance science, and to protect the weak, but only if he survived the trials that lay ahead. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. The planet itself seemed alive, reacting to his presence. Samuel braced himself as a massive creature, towering and armored with crystalline skin, rose from the sands. Its eyes glowed red, and its roar shook the sky. This was the ultimate test: strength, courage, and intellect combined. Samuel held the crystal high. The cube's energy merged with it, forming a protective barrier. He realized he could not defeat the creature with brute force, it was a test of strategy, observation, and courage. Using the holographic projections from the cube, he lured the creature into a trap, forcing it to collapse into a fissure without harming it. The creature retreated, bowing its head as if acknowledging Samuel's wisdom. The cube pulsed, the crystal glowed, and the voice of his uncle returned. "You are proving humanity's worth, Samuel. The universe tests those who act with courage and integrity. You are ready for the next stage. But remember, your choices now will echo across worlds. Choose wisely, for the path ahead is far more dangerous. As Samuel prepared to leave the chamber, he looked up at the twin suns, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. He was no longer just a teacher from a small town. He had become a guardian of knowledge, a pioneer of human courage, and a symbol of humanity's potential. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of destiny on his shoulders. The universe was vast, full of danger and wonder, and his journey was just beginning. Each step forward would test his heart, his mind, and his humanity itself. Samuel had crossed worlds, faced alien guardians, and mastered the strange technology of the cube and crystal. But nothing had prepared him for what lay ahead. As he stepped through the shimmering portal from the alien chamber, he found himself floating above a massive space station orbiting a planet glowing with an eerie green light. The station was immense, stretching farther than any city on Earth. Lights blinked in intricate patterns, and strange vessels moved through the void with precision. Samuel realized this station was not only a fortress but a hub of knowledge and danger. Every step he took now could alter the fate of countless lives. The cube floated ahead, projecting a path into the heart of the station. But the voice of his uncle returned, warning him. Samuel, the next test will challenge your mind, your morals, and the very essence of humanity. You must decide, not for yourself, but for those who cannot choose. One wrong decision could destroy worlds. Samuel's heart pounded as he descended into the station. The corridors were alive with energy, walls pulsing with faint, alien runes. Shadows flickered across the lights, hinting at dangers lurking around every corner. Suddenly, the station's artificial intelligence spoke, a calm, mechanical voice with an unsettling edge. Human detected. Initiate trial protocol. Choice must be made within 30 minutes, or consequences will be irreversible. Before Samuel appeared, 3 chambers opened simultaneously. Holographic images projected inside each. Chamber 1, a city of innocent humans threatened by an unstoppable alien weapon. Only a calculated act of strategy could save them. Chamber 2, an advanced alien civilization, pleading for Samuel's help to stop a destructive cosmic phenomenon, but doing so would risk Earth. Chamber 3, a portal showing the vast wealth of knowledge and power the cube and crystal offered, but using it selfishly would harm countless lives. Samuel's mind raced. Every option demanded a choice between morality, courage, and intelligence. This was no longer about survival, it was about the future of humanity and other civilizations. He focused on the first chamber. The humans were unaware of the alien weapon approaching. Samuel calculated the odds, using the cube's energy to project a protective barrier around the city. He had saved thousands, but the cube pulsed violently. The second chamber's dilemma appeared, more urgent than before. Alien scientists, intelligent and advanced, were trapped in a planetary storm that could obliterate their home. Samuel hesitated. To save them, Earth might suffer. He weighed every possible outcome, realizing the universe was testing not just his bravery, but his judgment, his ethics, and his heart. Finally, Samuel acted. He combined the crystal and cube's energy, creating a solution that minimized harm. The humans were protected, the alien civilization survived, and the cosmic balance remained intact. The cube pulsed warmly, acknowledging his wisdom. But there was a final revelation. The station's AI projected a hologram of Gerald, Samuel's distant uncle. You have done more than survive. You have proven that humanity is capable of courage, intelligence, and empathy. But the ultimate test lies ahead, the temptation of power. Will you use this knowledge to serve others, or yourself? Samuel felt the weight of destiny press down. He could claim unimaginable power, reshape worlds, or return to his small life on Earth. Yet, he understood the lesson: true strength was in sacrifice, humility, and using power wisely. He made his choice. Samuel activated the crystal and cube not for himself, but to create a network of knowledge and protection for Earth and allied civilizations. The station responded, integrating him into a web of intelligence that spanned galaxies. Samuel had become a guardian, not of wealth or fame, but of humanity itself. As he floated in the heart of the station, gazing at the stars, he realized the journey had changed him. He was no longer just a teacher. He was a symbol of human potential, the embodiment of what humanity could achieve when courage, intelligence, and morality guided every decision. The twin suns of distant worlds shone bright through the station's massive windows. Samuel knew this was not the end. Greater challenges awaited, but for the first time, he felt ready. The inheritance had not been money, it had been a test of character, and he had passed. The cube and crystal pulsed in harmony, their glow reflecting in Samuel's eyes. He understood that the universe had chosen him, but also that he had chosen the universe in return, humanity's hope, courage, and wisdom intertwined in a single man. Samuel floated in the heart of the space station, surrounded by the soft glow of the cube and crystal. His journey had taken him across worlds, through trials of courage, morality, and intelligence. He had saved civilizations, faced creatures that defied imagination, and made choices that shaped the fate of humanity. Yet, something deep inside told him that the ultimate challenge was still ahead. Suddenly, the cube pulsed violently, projecting a massive hologram. A figure appeared, tall, regal, and surrounded by radiant light. It was Gerald, his distant uncle. But this time, the hologram spoke not with words, but with an energy that resonated in Samuel's mind. Samuel, the inheritance is complete only when you understand its true purpose. Power is not for yourself, it is a responsibility. You are the guardian of knowledge, courage, and hope. The universe has tested humanity through you. Now, you must decide your final path. Before Samuel, 3 portals shimmered into existence, each one beckoning with a different future. Portal 1, return to Earth as a simple teacher, enriched with wisdom and experience, but leaving the galaxy's knowledge untapped. Portal 2, remain in the cosmic network, guiding civilizations, shaping the future of the stars, but leaving his old life behind forever. Portal 3, claim ultimate control over the cube and crystal, mastering power beyond imagination, but risking the corruption of his morals and humanity. Samuel's mind raced. For a moment, he felt the pull of Portal 3. The allure of ultimate power was tempting. But he remembered Peter, the students he had helped, and the countless lives he had touched with simple acts of kindness. Power alone meant nothing without responsibility and compassion. He closed his eyes and focused on the lessons of his journey: courage, morality, intelligence, and above all, the strength of humanity. Slowly, he moved toward Portal 2. He would remain in the cosmic network, not for fame or wealth, but to guide, protect, and help. He understood that true greatness lay in service, not self-interest. The moment Samuel stepped into Portal 2, the station transformed. Light flooded every corner, revealing civilizations he had only glimpsed before. Alien cities, human colonies, and distant planets thrived, all connected by a network of knowledge that he now helped guide. Samuel felt the energy of the cube and crystal merge with his own heart, creating a bridge between worlds, a beacon of hope, courage, and intelligence. Yet, there was one final surprise. A message appeared in the crystal, simple but profound. Every act of kindness, every choice guided by courage, shapes not just your life, but the lives of countless others. You are the proof that humanity can rise beyond fear, greed, and weakness. Tears filled Samuel's eyes. He realized that his journey had begun with something small, a pair of shoes for a poor student, and had led him to the stars. The teacher who had been punished for kindness had become a symbol of what humans could achieve when guided by morality, intelligence, and courage. The space station pulsed with life as Samuel explored his new responsibilities. He helped civilizations adapt to challenges, prevent conflicts, and unlock knowledge that had been lost for centuries. Every decision he made echoed through the cosmos, proving that humanity, even small and fragile, could be a force of hope, innovation, and courage. Years passed, or perhaps minutes, for time flowed differently in the cosmic network. Samuel occasionally looked back at Earth, remembering the streets he had walked, the students he had taught, and the life he had once lived. It was a reminder that greatness often starts in small, simple acts of kindness. And somewhere, across the vastness of the universe, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging Samuel's journey. He was no longer just a teacher. He was a guardian, a pioneer, and a living testament to humanity's potential. As the cube and crystal pulsed in harmony, Samuel knew one undeniable truth. The universe tests those with courage, but it rewards those who remain kind, wise, and selfless. Humanity could rise, and he had become its living proof. The adventure was over, yet it had only just begun. Samuel's story, born from simple kindness, now stretched across galaxies, leaving a legacy that would inspire generations to come.